Have you ever heard of a GSA? GSAs are student-led groups that create safer, more supportive schools for LGBTQ plus students and their allies. GSA originally stood for Gay Straight Alliance, but today it's often called a Gender and Sexuality Alliance. GSAs have been an incredibly beneficial part of Southwest Michigan and a lot of the work that we do here at the OutCenter. So if you're a student in a school, a parent of a student, or a teacher or counselor who's interested in starting a GSA, we think there's a few things that's important to keep in mind as you begin that process. First, it's important to know your rights. First thing to note is this: students have a right to start a GSA. Under the Equal Access Act, schools are not allowed to prohibit a GSA from starting as long as there are other non-curricular clubs. Things like chess club, D&D club, euchre club, anything like that would also leave the door open for a GSA to be started. Schools, again, are not allowed to discriminate against this club just because it is an LGBTQ plus related club. So it's important to know that you have the right to start this club across Southwest Michigan. So what are the benefits of a GSA? We often get this question from community members who may have some concerns about a GSA. And I think it's important to note that GSAs matter because all students deserve the right to collect and organize and find spaces within their school communities where they feel safe and accepted. But it's also important to note that GSAs provide a broad support system to all students. Studies show that schools that have GSAs not only feel safer and more welcoming to LGBTQ plus students, but they feel safer and more welcoming to all students in their school communities. Again, it's important to note that when students are allowed to thrive, when they're allowed to feel community and connection to one another, they're going to perform better academically, socially, emotionally, across the board. Students do better when they're allowed to come together and share those experiences in a safe space within their school communities. GSAs achieve these results through three pillars: one being social support, one being education, and one being advocacy. Every GSA is going to look a little bit different based off the school, the community, and the needs of the student population. That said, almost all GSAs are going to have these three elements to some degree or another. Now, some may be a little bit more focused on social support, some may be more focused on education or advocacy. That being said, GSAs are generally going to cover these three areas across the board. Social support provides a safe space where students can build community, share experience, and celebrate LGBTQ plus identities. Education efforts help GSA members and the school as a whole learn more about LGBTQ plus history, issues, and identities. They can host events, discussions, or awareness days that spark understanding. And last but certainly not least, advocacy is the work that GSAs do to make their schools more inclusive through policy changes and visibility. That can mean pushing for gender-neutral restrooms, more inclusive curriculums, or anti-bullying protections. At the end of the day, it's relatively simple. GSAs equals safer schools. GSAs are about community, learning, and building better, safer schools for our communities. It is so important that students know and remember that they have a right to start a GSA club and that they are not alone in this. Together, we can build safer schools that serve everyone in our communities. If you're interested in starting a GSA for the 2025-2026 school year, reach out to us at Gerik@outcenter.org. You can also find more information or reach out to us through our contact form at outcenter.org. Thank you so much for watching this episode of No Silly Questions. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have a question for a future episode of No Silly Questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment. We'd love to talk about those in a future episode. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.